And I am Noble Crosby, and the headlines tonight.
News360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsidan Charcoal and Pepsidan Herbal.
EcoBank.
Minority Caucus wants Parliament to repeal energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy under a certificate of urgency after the second postponement of its implementation.
Also in the bulletin, residents of Totope in Aday struggle daily for unsafe water while waiting for long-promised clean water access.
More girls in Ghana are starting their periods as early as age 8, raising health and social concerns.
Much later in international news, Israel widens attacks on Iran as Netanyahu says regime change could happen even as US President says the two sides should make a deal to end the fighting. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you shortly, but be reminded that there's also more news on our website, 3news.com. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Let's get the details of the story starting from here.
The Minority Caucus in Parliament is demanding that the House be urgently reconvened to repeal the controversial Energy Sector Levies Act 2025. This follows the second postponement by the Ghana Revenue Authority of the implementation of the levy, which was to take effect on June 16.
In a statement issued on Sunday, June 15, the minority condemned the postponement of the implementation ahead of its scheduled commencement on June 16. The minority described the move as evidence of government's chaotic and inconsistent approach to economic governance. The statement said the 11th hour U-turn epitomizes a trial and error strategy and reveals a disturbing lack of stakeholder engagement prior to the passage of the law. The minority reminded government of its pledges to provide relief to Ghanaians, not to impose additional taxes. According to the minority, government's justification citing global crude oil price volatility due to the Israel-Iran conflict was both hypocritical and dishonest. Spokesperson and head of communication at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, lawyer Richmond Roxon, told TV3 that government's decision is a response to current market volatility.
The government communicated clearly that they will keep monitoring what happens on the international market as well as the exchange rate, and that if there are any challenges or issues, definitely they can take a look at the countries. That's exactly what the president has done. He directed the ministers for energy and green transition as well as Ministry of Finance to take a look at it, monitor and then advise.
Government had projected to raise between 5 billion Ghana cedis and 6 billion Ghana cedis to support the procurement of liquid fuel. The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies earlier raised concerns which led to the first postponement of the implementation date from June 9 to June 16. COMAC described the original timeline as an institutional ambush, claiming the directive was issued without adequate consultation. The Commissioner General of the GRA, Anthony Kwesi-Sapon, in a statement on Friday, June 13, said the new implementation date will be communicated in due course.
Well, from the energy front to some education-related stories, particularly about the ongoing BEC. This year's Basic Education Certificate examination, it has been extended to 2 full weeks. Now, the move is designed to offer students a much-needed and breather between papers. As expected, the move is generating mixed reactions. Judith Brown has more in this report.
With the weekend break fallen between papers, BEC candidates have been presented with an opportunity to revise intensively for the remaining papers ahead. And while this may be a game changer for many, others argue that complacency might set in.
Now I have a weekend to rest and to prepare, so let's not waste time.
At Ave Maria School, students are making the most of the extended BEC schedule.
But we know that if we do more studies and devote more time to it, we can make it.
For them, the additional time between the exam has reduced the anxiety, making them better prepared.
I'm able to learn harder, I'm able to study, because during the weekend I'm able to rest and also able to study harder because the teachers are coming in, they're giving us questions, like it's so good.
I especially find it difficult to solve maths, but during this period I'll have the opportunity to answer most of the questions and go through all the topics one by one.
Since we're writing maths, the weekend, it will help us to be able to practice more, solve more, and get ready for the math we are writing on Monday, so it will help us.
The school's administrator, Crosby, applauds the decision, calling it a progressive move that prioritizes the mental well-being of students.
All our children came into school, whether the day students or the boarders, they were here. That was because we wanted to ensure that they did not take this weekend as a chance to just completely dissociate from the BC exams. With this, they just get a bit of a breather, but they still have to learn. They're not done. This is just more time.
With the math exam kicking off on Monday, head of the mathematics department at the school is particularly pleased that the weekend was added.
I believe that at least that days off will help them. Because writing 2 papers a day is so stressful. So at least giving them that 2 days rest will help them to have enough time to prepare for the other papers.
But for students at the Kanda cluster of schools, it's a different ballgame altogether.
Well, here at the Kanda cluster of schools, it's all fun and games. Most of the boys here behind me are actually BC candidates, but for them, they'd rather use the weekend to relax, have some fun, play some football, and enjoy. This shows the stark difference between the private institutions and the public basic schools right here in Accra. It tells you really what they want to use this time for, but for them, government should maintain the weekend schedule as it gives them that ample time to study and relax. As I'm here, I haven't sighted a single student studying for tomorrow's paper.
I like the weekend because I will have time to sit down and learn well, and I'll relax, have confidence.
Like I play football today.
Yes.
Why?
Yesterday, I did not do any work, so I want to just play football today.
This weekend, we can use this time to learn, prepare for ourselves so that this Monday, the maths won't be difficult for us.
But right now, you're not learning, you're playing football.
Well, I have to exercise more, so when I go home, I can study. I normally go to library and study.
Students across board hope that this 2-week format becomes the new norm. They believe it is a small change with a big impact on performance and well-being. And while opinions may vary, one thing is certain. This initiative is opening the door to a more student-friendly approach to national exams. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Meanwhile, 24 individuals involved in various infractions during the ongoing BEC have been handed over to the police for potential prosecution. John Kapi is the head of public affairs at the West African Examination Council. He joins us via Zoom for more on this. Mr. Kapi, good evening to you. Before we tackle the issue at hand, can you give us your general assessment of the first 3 days of the 2025 BEC?
Good evening and thanks for having me. Our assessment of the first 3 days of the examination, we believe that we've been able to accomplish whatever task that we had ourselves, basically because we need to get examination material to all the candidates across the country, stationery and question papers. And we have been able to do that. There were a few hitches of delays in some of the areas, but I think on the second day, these issues were resolved. So I would say that so far, things have been quite smooth.
Now let's speak about the 24 individuals that have been arrested for various infractions during the exams. Can you give us more detail on that?
Right. So in the course of the examination, at least within the first 3 days, there were a number of arrests that were effected. We had one supervisor And then we had also 2 head teachers who were, distributing photocopied material to the candidates. And I'm sure that they are their own bona fide candidates that they were distributing those items to. We also had a number of teachers who had mobile phones on them. They had taken snapshots and had distributed them to platforms that they belonged to. And then we had also a few others who were really not related to the examination, but some ways or somehow found their way into the examination halls, and then they were either distributing photocopied answers to the questions, or they were out of the room solving the questions and preparing to send the responses to the candidates in the examination hall.
So these 24 individuals, if they are found culpable, what happens to them?
Well, the WAEC law would be applied. There are fines that may be brought against those people. There are also maybe periods of incarceration depending on the discretion of the presiding judge. So these are some of the penalties that could come their way. In the meantime, we are compiling the list. Since we are not done yet, we would compile the list and submit same to the Director General Ghana Education Service for disciplinary action to be taken against these individuals. Going forward, these people would have no business working with us any longer.
We're also hearing about some pregnant candidates who were registered for this year's exams. How many are there, and how's WAEC supporting them for the examinations?
Well, the issue of pregnant candidates, for now, we will not be able to give you a total figure because it is not something that is factored into the registration process. What happens is that for registration, we usually look at candidates who have maybe visual impairment, hearing impairment, candidates who may have cerebral palsy or any of those other problems. But then pregnant candidates, usually you only find them when you go to an examination center. So again, there is no rule that says that those candidates, the pregnant candidates, should be given any specific treatment. However, the makeshift infirmaries that we have over there with some personnel to manage them, at least with first aid, is something that is provided for them. But then going forward, maybe the Ghana Education Service would come up with a policy, that would support.
Well, thank you very much for your time this evening on News 360. John Kapi is the head of public affairs at WAEC.
Well, every BEC season, we revisit a familiar face, Michael Aday, the student from 14 years ago whose viral videos become a motivational staple for candidates. Today, Michael is back with a powerful message for this year's BEC candidates. Judith Brown interacted with him and reports.
Remember this viral video?
It's like it was a classwork for me because almost all we saw it in our school, in the mock. Oh, this is not a poor matter. We are having quality teachers. In fact, extraordinary. Not simple teachers, graduates and grad ones. Oh, you will pass. We will bend the paper.
Well, it's been 14 whole years and Michael Aday is now 29. Come along with me. Let's see how he's faring.
I remember at the time during that video, you were very confident in terms of you passing the papers, you were being trained by graduates and grad ones. Were you able to pass a BEC then?
I did my good and I know what I wrote. But when the results came, I was a bit disappointed. But I know what I wrote. So
how disappointed? What did the results show?
I literally said I was expecting single numbers, but I had 16.
Oh,
15,
okay.
15 or 16.
Yeah.
So I was so much disappointed. So
wow. And how did school go after? What SHS were you able to attend? Were you able to go to the tertiary institution?
Due to some hardships, so it was just after high school that I started doing business. Yeah, I started venturing into buying and selling stuff online. Sometimes like random lots of businesses.
You used to believe in the education system in Ghana. You were very confident then. Do you maintain that confidence?
I was very confident before, but now I'm sorry to say it's like the whole thing is messed up. It's like a chess thing. In the previous government's arrangements, the whole new calendar system, like sometimes you see a kid on vacation, you ask him, when are you going back to school? He'll be like, in 2 months. But you see the kid at home like for 4 whole months and he'll be like, yeah, I'm still on vacation. I was like, wow, it wasn't like that my time. it was just a month and 2 weeks and you're back in school. Like it was just rigorous like that. But now everything has changed.
And do you have siblings who are also in school?
I have 2 siblings in school right now. One is writing the BEC this term, and I think the other one is in primary 3. I told them to be confident. They should know they should go and bend it.
Have they seen your viral video?
Oh, yeah, they did. One asked me was like, almost I call away. I'm just okay. Almost I'm just okay. So I can't find it.
So what's your advice to our students? BEC is currently ongoing. In a few days, they'll be done somewhere next week.
They shouldn't be scared. Like I said, it's just like the mock. Like we did it in the mock. It's that simple. They shouldn't be scared. It's just an exam. Come on. It shouldn't scare you. They can do it if you've been able to reach GHS 3 and register for it. You can do it.
Well, it's yet another BEC season, and while many students may be tense due to the atmosphere and the pressure, take a word from Michael. Be confident. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Now let's turn our attention to one of our headliners. And Henrietta was just 12 years old when she got her first period, a milestone many young girls are navigating today. Early menarche, when girls start menstruating as early as 8 or 9 years, is becoming increasingly common in Ghana. My colleague Sarah Pencro reports on how parents and young girls are navigating this reality.
Early menarche is the first menstruation of a young girl at a younger age than the average of 13 years. Studies have shown that some girls in Ghana experience their first period as early as 9 years, while others may not experience it until 16 years old. While the average age of first menstruation varies globally, girls starting their periods from 8 years old is unusually early, and the trend appears common here in Ghana. Henrietta Ankra had her first period at the age of 12. She had no idea what was happening to her body.
When I wake up from the bed, and I told my mother that my pants has been spoiled, it feels like your stomach will pain you, but it is not your stomach, it's your abdomen. So my mother gave me some para or something, then I will take it, then I will sleep.
Henrietta had her mother to guide her.
She told me that now I'm a lady, I can born. So I should not have any sex with her mother.
Her mother, though worried when it happened, had some consolation.
She came to tell me she was seeing stains of blood, so I taught her what to do. I know a lot of girls had theirs at 8 years and 9 years, so I was grateful.
It is no secret that girls who experience early menstruation are more likely to engage in early sexual activity, increasing their risk of teenage pregnancy, induced abortion, obstructed labor, and maternal mortality. So, her mother was watchful over her daughter.
I was worried. It wasn't like that. These children don't know much, so as parents, we need to guide them.
Henrietta's parents are not the only ones battling such a dilemma.
10 years.
She had hers at 10 years, so we had to advise her.
My sister now 11 years.
My sister's child had it at 11 years, and it was surprising.
16, 17, 18.
My last born when 10.
My last born had hers at 10 years. Times have really changed.
First we be inside. Now be 16. Ebi kura 18.
14 to 15. Okoro 15
Many households have had a child or two experience early menstruation, and there is considerable confusion about the underlying causes.
It's quite challenging to identify, into details, what really is causing the change.
multifactorial, and then also look at future implications of having early menarche.
While early menarche tends to be associated with a longer reproductive period and therefore often coincides with a later menopause, it does not guarantee it.
The transition from childhood to adulthood, that period called adolescence, it's a period where there are a lot of challenges. So if they are not monitored well, adequately around these periods, they could easily get pregnant. And you can see that the reproductive system of that girl may not be well developed. So if she gets pregnant then, the likelihood that she could get some complications.
There is need to intensify adolescent reproductive health education at the primary level to ensure every girl child is well equipped with knowledge to handle the moment when it arrives. Sarah Apenko, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, from early periods to rail systems and the siege, Ghana's railway system is under serious threat following massive commercial and unauthorized encroachment along its periphery. Among the most alarming issues are the unregulated activities of sex workers operating commercial brothels on the stretch. Stalin Iblo reports here.
Ghana's shuttle services have been grounded, largely due to the destruction of rail lines, faulty coaches, and widespread encroachments along major routes. The situation is especially there along the Aveno Kwame Nkrumah Circle section of the Accra-Tema Railway, where livestock vendors have overrun the rail lines. These encroachments continue to put lives at risk, with regulatory bodies watching on. On Thursday, June 5th, 2025, Ghana's only functioning shuttle service derailed at Aveno while en route from Accra to Tema. The derailment occurred after vendors tied a grazing cow to the rail line. Railway workers have since manually restored the shuttle onto its tracks.
And the way things are going, if the city authority doesn't help the railways to clear all those people from that place, it will be difficult for train to run for some time to come.
But other human-induced activities at the enclave raise more safety concerns. Along this same stretch, the construction of brothels along the rail line has become increasingly widespread. In 2017, a TV3 investigative report exposed the illicit activities of sex workers in the area, leading to a demolition exercise by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. However, after a fire last year devastated the corridor, destroying all existing brothels, the sex work community has returned, this time with even more structures than before. Even more troubling is the encroachment on portions of the Ghana-Lebanon Islamic Secondary School land by this same community. School authorities and students now live in fear as miscreants affiliated with the sex workers exert increasing influence around the school premises.
These people basically are people that are involved in prostitution, the sale of drugs and the use of drugs, and then engagement in other social vices. So therefore, we found it that it's a matter of urgency that government would have to come in, because these are kids that we are raising for the future of Ghana.
Some residents who spoke to TV3 on grounds of anonymity expressed worry about how some miscreants among the sex workers terrorize others with firearms every night amidst heightened robbery in the area. Accra area manager of the Ghana Railways, George Texan, expressed deep concern, warning of drastic action if leadership continues to fail in addressing the situation.
From today, all those who are employed railway line from Circle to Aveno, or preferably to Achimota, we are going to serve them letters, and you contact the police, railway police, to see to it that we use force to eject them from the places that they have encroached. With immediate effect, we have to take that action. Other than that, the day that it will rain and the trains skip up the rail, it will be difficult for us to bring it back on track.
Vice Chairman of the Railway Workers Union and train driver, Michael Clement, is also calling for urgent steps to restore order along the tracks.
The union wish that they move all of them over there. Besides, railway is not benefiting anything from them.
In Accra, traders have further compounded the problem by conducting active business directly on the rail lines. The continued deterioration of Ghana's railway infrastructure through unchecked encroachment, illegal activity, and institutional neglect paints a bleak picture for the future of safe rail transport in the country. Without immediate coordinated intervention from city authorities, law enforcement, and the Ministry of Transport, the nation risks losing not only a critical mode of transport, but also the lives of its citizens. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
For more than 20 years, the people of Totope in the Adan East constituency have lived without access to safe and potable water. What should be a basic right has become a daily struggle for life, with regular cases of cholera, diarrhea, and skin infections. My colleague Christian Yale reports that scientists have tested samples of the water and declared it unsuitable for any use.
Totope is located in Adan East and some 3 hours drive from Accra. Survival here means fetching water from the belly of the earth and praying it does not make you sick. For over 2 decades, residents of Totope have been digging holes near the sea to collect water that seeps in, using it without any treatment. Doris Sewu is a mother of 4, spends most of her productive hours storing water to take care of her kids.
I have 4 kids. In the morning, I have to fetch water early to prepare the 2 elderly ones for school. In the afternoon, I leave the younger ones in the house with their grandma to fetch again for use in the evening. It becomes very difficult each day.
This is not just about health, but also a dignity issue. Doris exemplifies the life of women in this community who queue in the morning, afternoon, and evening to fetch water.
I don't treat the water after fetching it. I only store it in the gallons for the debris to settle before I use for cooking and other domestic chores. Sometimes we fall sick, but we don't have a choice.
They are sometimes forced to buy sachet water for bathing, but that is a luxury for most. So they rely on what seeps out of the soil, unfiltered and untreated. The fishing community has 2 pipes, but the taps do not flow. Diseases like cholera, diarrhea, as well as skin infections have become common in Totope and neighboring towns.
He gave assurance that by the end of 2021...
The Member of Parliament for Aday, Comfort Doyo Kujo, upon a visit to her office, showed me letters, requests made and responses from state agencies in the past, which have all not yielded any result.
It's very pathetic seeing women digging holes to fetch water for their house choices. As a woman, I don't feel comfortable.
The first Deputy Majority Whip said the situation is a real trouble for her.
In the 8th Parliament, I raised a statement on the floor of Parliament. Government Assurance Committee in 2022 called them to come and answer questions whether the problems have been faced or not. They came out with a nice answer that they have faced the problem. This is it. So this 9th Parliament, I've been able to reach the Minister of Water, and the response that I've gotten there from the Minister of Works and Housing and Water Resources Office is very, very encouraging.
I took samples of the water to the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research for testing, and the results are troubling.
We had total coliform, which I have already mentioned as indicators. We had E. coli, which are pathogens. We have the staphylococcus, which all these parameters, it should be 0. There shouldn't be any bacteria to make it suitable for drinking. But this sample has E. coli and total coliform, which are above the recommended level.
The water from Totope does not meet the World Health Organization standards and even recommendations by the Ghana Standards Authority.
Per the results from this sample, it shows that the water is not suitable for drinking purposes without any treatment.
Mothers say the water is slowly killing them, yet they continue to fetch water from the same contaminated source.
This is what we go through daily. It causes waste and knee pains, which affects how we are able to prepare our children for school. We plead for help.
In the week ending 13th June, officials of the Community Water Sanitation Agency visited the town in the company of the MP and promised to ensure reliable and potable water supply in the area.
I can't say anything about it, being it tomorrow or a year to come that I will be able to get water. But the only thing we can do is to push it hard and harder for the government to see that indeed we are in water crisis.
This is where I needed the government most. I needed the civil society most. I needed the ambassadors most, and needed the NGOs most.
For Totope and its environs, the Sustainable Development Goal 6 remains a mystery. Clean water and sanitation have eluded them. The community stands as a painful reminder of how some lives are lived far from the promises of progress. Residents here are not asking for luxury, just clean water to live and to grow. They still wait for water, for help, for change. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Totope, Aday East.
Well, some thirst for water. It's Father's Day, and when Abdul Rahim's wife gave birth to the second child, the baby's different skin tone came as a surprise. But love conquered all differences. His wife would have 4 more children born, each with their own unique skin tone. As they celebrate Father's Day, they proudly demonstrate that different colors make up one people. Poshagabo has more in this report.
My name is Abdul Rahim Sambo. This is my wife, Ayisha Muswala. My first daughter is in school at Water Region. This is my second born. She's called Abiba Sambu. She's a person living with albinism. And this is the third born. She's also called Swad Sambu. She's also living with albinism. Then the fourth born and the fourth son is called Rayan. He is different. And the fifth born is called Swala Sambu. He's also with albinism. And the last born is called Abdul Salam Sambu. He's also not living with albinism. This is my unique family.
How can 2 dark-skinned people give birth to a person with albinism? That's the question people ask when they meet the Sambo family. The answer lies in genetics. Albinism is a condition where a person has very little or no melanin, which is the pigment that gives color to our skin, hair, and eyes. Mr. and Mrs. Sambo are dark-skinned, but they each carry a hidden gene for albinism. This means that a person needs to inherit 2 copies of the mutated gene, one from each parent, to have the condition. If both parents carry the gene for albinism but do not have the condition themselves, they are considered carriers. They can pass the gene on to their children.
I know in my family we have inside my grandfather's side, they are living with albinism. God can give you anything. You are not the one who would tell God that I like this or this. God give what He wants to you.
Be that. Me we na say akola na okoga na me say sa me who ni tuni na me say ni tuni gold color.
I'd never seen a child with albinism before. I realized my child's hair was golden. I informed my husband, but he was understanding and feared God, so there was no problem.
Allah.
Mr. Sample tells me he has showered his kids with love to boost their self-worth and confidence.
If somebody maybe is teasing them, they should not fight. He called them maybe Obroni or Ofrijato or something like this. They shouldn't fight. They should laugh. They should show love to the person. That's how I treat them.
We are all human beings, and it's okay to be different. So it's not everybody that is like perfect. So they should feel confident in themselves. Those people too, who because they don't want to go to school because they treat them differently, they shouldn't feel bad because they are not doing this for them, they are doing it for themselves.
A girl in society, she like calling me Ofujato, and every time
I'll tell her to stop calling me that, but still she'll be calling me that because I hate it. I want them to be calling me by my name because my name is Swat, because it's not my identity.
I want to be a doctor in future and treat patients like me. Even though I'm different, but we are all one family.
Even not a single person treat them bad. And the children too, they are good by themselves. They are good. We don't have any problem with them.
He urged parents of children with albinism not to neglect their wards. Indeed, the Sambo family story showcases the beauty of diversity and the power of love. Despite having children with different skin tones, including albinism, they are a testament to acceptance and unity. Their experience highlights the importance of understanding genetics. After all, we are all different colors, one people.
You can achieve anything like other children in the world. So don't be feeling shy that maybe your color is different from other children. So be strong. So be happy anytime. That's how God created you. You are my queen and you are my king. So I treat you very well. I love you.
Portia Gabo, TV3 News.
Well, different shades, one bond, and that's the true color of Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all fathers watching us out there. Away from that to some other stories. Media General subsidiary in the Western region, Connect FM 97.1 and the Groove Esipon Beach Resort. On Sunday, they joined hands to celebrate Father's Day with a heartwarming Hymns of Salvation event. The celebration featured the nationally acclaimed symphonic choir, Ghana, delivering an uplifting musical experience that honored fathers.
The event brought together families to celebrate the love, guidance, and sacrifices of fathers. The symphonic choir's soulful performance added to the festive atmosphere. Some participants shared heartfelt memories of their fathers, revealing how they will cherish them forever.
Father is late, but one thing I can remember about him is he never made us feel that we are alone. So with all that I can say is I'm always grateful.
Lately, I have come to the realization that a lot of us wait till they are no more. Then we just reminisce the times, beautiful times together. Being a mother myself, mehwɛ sɛnea me nkɔra enyini ɛwɔ me nkyɛn na mehu sɛ my parents have done a great job, especially my father.
I really appreciate my father's efforts. My father, I don't know, he's the best father I've ever had.
I remember one time I was in JJ, there was an excursion scheduled on a day. My father said he wouldn't pay. I was crying, but everything, he paid everything, and I was allowed to go to this excursion. So I thank you so much. I pray you live long on this earth.
God bless our daddies, especially my dad. Even when he's not having, he tries best as much as possible to get for us.
The organizers shared insights on the celebration's importance, emphasizing its potential to foster deeper gratitude for fathers' contributions.
Father is a seed of every family. Women don't have seed. It is important to celebrate the seed of every family. That is why we celebrate Father's Day. We saw that Connect is the only station or radio station that can really connect us to the fathers. Yes, that is the reason that we connected with Connect FM.
For us as Connect, coming here to do this, just to let the fathers know that we appreciate whatever they do for their children, their families, and all that. And as our slogan states, Connect.
This is still News360. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We're back with more stories after this break.
Welcome back. Unilever Ghana Limited has relaunched Pepsidan Charcoal, marking a bold statement in oral health innovation. The company is also poised to providing the public with products that are not only effective, but backed by thorough research and deep understanding of consumer needs.
The relaunch of Pepsidan Charcoal underscores the brand's unwavering commitment to oral health excellence. The event brought together celebrities, brand ambassadors, influencers, and students of the University of Ghana. Guests were treated to a deep dive into the Black universe of Pepsidan Charcoal, a theme carefully chosen to represent the product's key ingredients: fluoride, charcoal, and lemon. Lead of Oral Care Innovations at Unilever Ghana Limited, Glenn Abraham Ampoma, explained that Pepsidan Charcoal is a perfect solution for gum and teeth disorders.
It's not just an ordinary charcoal toothpaste. It's a charcoal toothpaste that has 10 times activated charcoal in its purest form. It's a toothpaste that will take them on the journey that they want. It also has lemon in there. The lemon will help them sustain the freshness that they get from brushing. So overall, give them a very refreshing brushing experience, and then also give them the whitening that a lot of true beauty seekers in Ghana are now looking for.
According to him, as the company reflects on the successes of the relaunch, it is clear that Pepsidan Charcoal is poised to lead the way in oral health innovation.
The people painting, the people doing the art, they are craftsmen. They believe in their crafts. We have people that draw. It takes them time, and then they've learned, and then they've perfected their craft. You don't get a perfect smile in one day. You have to be involved in the journey. You have to be able to go through the grind, go through the mill, and then follow the process, and then get your smile. So it's just to align Ghanaians that it is a journey, and then Pepsidan Charcoal is ready to take you on that journey.
You buy Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Well, in a nail-biting finish, Asante Kotoko clinched the MTN FA Cup title. They won by 2-1 with a controversial penalty, if you like. Let's touch base with my colleague Bilishen, who is at the Legon Sports Stadium, for more updates. We'll cross over to Bilishen shortly, who will bring us sports news in relation to the win of Asante Kotoko as they won the MTN FA Cup. But this is still News 360 live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We're back after this break. Welcome back to the broadcast. Let's now cross over to my colleague Bill Shen from the Legon Sports Stadium for some updates on the just ended MTN FA Cup that Asante Kotoko won. Unfortunately, we could not bring you that. Okay, I understand we have Bill Shen right on the line with the updates.
MTN. Why? So the dust has settled and Asante Kotoko are officially the champions of the MTN FA Cup in the 2024-25 season. This means that they have officially now won 10 trophies in the MTN FA Cup. And standing right beside me is head coach of the side, that is Abdul Karim Zito Kabute. Karim Zito, first off, what does this trophy mean to you?
It means a lot. One, for over 10 years, Kotoko have not been to Africa, be it FA, be it champion. And then secondly, I played as a Kotoko player to win this cup, and today here I am coaching the same club to win. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy with this achievement.
Now that you've actually made this achievement, the next step will be the CAF Confederation Cup, which of course we saw what you did with Dreams FC, reaching the semi-finals of the competition when you were with them. What will be your target with Kotoko in the CAF Confederation Cup next season?
Well, even with the Dreams FC, I didn't go solo. I took it step by step. So now let us see the prelims, and then if we have anything to talk about it, we'll say it. But for now, I can't tell you anything.
But coach, I'm sure there's this particular question which is on the minds of a lot of Kotoko fans at the moment. Are you going to stay on as the head coach, or would you move back to that technical director position ahead of next season?
Somebody brought me to Kotoko as a technical director, and unfortunately my own son left, so automatically I have to take over. So the assignment given to me has been done. So what is left is with Kotoko, not me. It's not me, it's Kotoko. So I'm listening to them.
What would you personally look forward to? What are you personally looking for?
On what they will tell me, and I'll sit down and then look over it and then see how best I can go about it. But for now, I can't say anything.
All right, thank you, coach. That was Coach Abdul Karim Zito Kabute of Asante Kotoko. Remember that he won the MTN FA Cup with Dreams FC in the 2022-23 season, and he's now won it with Asante.
That was my colleague Bill Shen updating us on the happenings at the Legon Sports Stadium. For more sports news, you can always log into our website, 3news.com/sports. That's your sports. Entertainment news is up next.
After a week of captivating reality TV drama, 4 couples have secured their spots in the Perfect Match Extra Grand Finale following a 10 semi-final live eviction show on Saturday night. Here are the highlights for those emotional final moments.
It's been weeks of thrilling reality TV moments. The stage is now set for the grand finale of Perfect Match Extra 3.
We get into the most anticipated grand finale ever. Now, you guys, a round of applause to you guys. You truly have been amazing semi-finalists. And it's an actual historical semi-final because we've never had this many people in the semi-finals before.
In a dramatic and emotional semi-final live show on Saturday night, 3 couples, Ja and Kiki, Kwame and Paulina, and Andalord and Bambi, said their goodbyes, bringing their journey to an end and missing out on a chance to win love, fame, and the grand prize.
It is pain. It is pain. It is pain. It is pain by me.
The housemate leaving Big Mama's house is Ja and Kiki.
With only 4 couples remain, Ghana will soon decide.
Certainly, Ghana will soon decide on the grand finale of Perfect Match Extra. Let's now bring you some international news.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says regime change could happen in Iran. Iran and Israel have continued to trade strikes after Israel attacked Iran early on Friday, hitting nuclear facilities, military sites and populated areas. Iran has responded with drones and ballistic missiles. US President Donald Trump says the two sides should make a deal, adding calls and meetings are taking place as the escalation stretches into a third day. Earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Iran would pay a very heavy price for civilian deaths. At least 10 people were killed in Iranian strikes on Israel overnight. Iranian media report that 128 people have been killed in Israeli attacks. The Israeli military has spoken of opening a path to Tehran, while Defense Minister Israel Katz has threatened to burn the Iranian capital if Iran continues to fire missiles at Israel. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has claimed Israel is on the side of the Iranian people and quoted the famous slogan of mass protests there a few years ago, "Woman, Life, Freedom." Group of 7 leaders have gathered in Canada amid growing splits with the United States over foreign policy and trade, with host Canada striving to avoid clashes with President Donald Trump, while Prime Minister Mark Carney says his priorities are strengthening peace and security, building critical mineral supply chains and creating jobs. Issues such as US tariffs and the conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine are expected to feature heavily. The last time Canada played host, in 2018, Trump left the summit before denouncing then Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as very dishonest and weak, and instructing the US delegation to withdraw its approval of the final communique. Doctors in India say 270 bodies have been recovered from the site of Thursday's plane crash in Ahmedabad. The London-bound aircraft crashed into a residential area shortly after takeoff, killing all but one of the 242 passengers and crew members, a 40-year-old British man. Officials have also been trying to establish how many people were killed on the ground and have been continuing the slow process of matching DNA samples to confirm the victims' identities.
And that's it for the news this evening. Thank you for spending the last 1 hour with us. I am Ayisha Yakubu.
And I am Noble Crosby. And as always, there's more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. It's Sunday and it's a Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to our fathers out there. Bye-bye.